Hey, welcome vlog number 10. Figured I'd chime in on the madness that's going on with the healthcare reform town hall meetings. A little bit of what I've seen, a little bit of my own critique on the situation. First of all, let me say this needs to be happening more um, beyond just healthcare. This needs to be what's going on as far as people speaking out needs to be going on so many different aspects of politics and government. The wars that continue under this administration, people should be speaking out and confronting their representatives, like the way these people have been uh, confronting their representatives, getting really in their faces and telling them what they think. Um, Same thing needs to be done with the economy. Same thing needs to be done with the war on drugs. Um, if people would start standing up and acting like this for everything, I really think that the government would possibly uh, carry out actions to our liking, to their constituents' wishes. Um, Whether or not these protests are, quote, manufactured by GOP think tanks or groups or fringe groups, um, I don't doubt that some of them are, much like the protests, the Tea Party protests. Um, some of the groups that were a part of that were, started by people like Glenn Beck, who, as we know, um, demonized Ron Paul all through the election, and then as soon as the election was over, and he demonized the the supporters of Ron Paul, and then as soon as the election was over, um, he's had him on and agrees with him about everything, and has turned a 180. And what's happening is that the mainstream, like I think I've said this before, the mainstream is latching on to the patriot movement. They're latching on to the freedom movement. They're latching on to the pro-constitution movement. And any way that they can infiltrate the message, they will. And that's what's happening with these town hall meetings. Is that you have a majority of people, and if you watch the videos online, a lot of their main concerns are about the government following the Constitution, following what the founding fathers gave us as far as the federal government, concerns about how this is going to be paid, the fact that taxpayers are going to be paying for this. We just, we just took the payment for bailouts for the auto industry, bailouts for the banking industry, and the stimulus bill, which majority of the money we haven't seen it put to use. Unemployment is continuing to go up, but it's not going up at a steady pace as it was. The Federal Reserve has come out today and said that the recession should be over by October, I believe. That's what they said. But they won't look at the real issue, which is that the debt continues to grow into the trillions, and that the long-term outlook of our economy it is pretty bleak, because eventually it's going to catch back up with us with inflation and hyperinflation possibly. So to get back though to this health bill or healthcare reform, whether or not these are manufactured, I'm sure some of them are. I'm sure some of them are coming out from the Palin groups and the kind of fringe, GOP neocon, coming up with all kinds of whacked out stuff. But a majority of the people that are going to these events are asking legitimate questions. How's the government going to pay for this? And a lot of conservatives who consider themselves conservatives are not going to want to take the bill, understandably. We've already taken the bill on health care, as far as people that go to, illegals that go to the emergency room and get free health care. That goes on our, we pay it with our tax dollars. So this bill, A, how is it going to be paid? And B, um, is this what the federal government was intended to do? Why is the federal government now stepping in and providing health care to everyone, to uninsured people, and is promising health care on the taxpayers' dollars? And a majority of these town hall meetings, that is the concern. The media will only focus in on the stupid, asinine quotes by people stating, um, like, death councils and what stuff like that. I know that the representatives who were supposedly going to be voting on these bills, although there's three versions in the House that are circulating. Nobody's read them. John Conyers has admitted it to out loud. He says, "Well, how can I read a bill, 1,000-page bill, when I don't understand it, and it takes lawyers to read it?" I'm like, that's your fucking job. How could you say, why should I read it? How can I read it? Why can people like Ron Paul and Dennis Kucinich and Bernie Sanders all read bills, 1,000 pages, and come out and make an intelligent vote when it comes up to the voting for a bill? Yet the people like John Conyers come out and say, "Well, it's 1,000 pages long. I can't read that." Well, that's your fucking job. If you can't do that, then you need to be shit-canned. It's like me working at a job, which I work in a warehouse, and if I was to tell my boss, I don't know how to ship, I can't ship because I can't understand the legal documents of shipping to another country, then obviously I shouldn't be working there. So, but the media is going to focus in on the left versus right, as always. They're not going to address the real issues of the people speaking out saying, A, we can't afford it because our country's broke, our government, it's going to come out of the taxpayers' wallets. And B, is this an overstep of the federal government? That's the question. And the media wants to make it a left versus right issue, a GOP versus Democratic Party issue, and this whole divide and conquer situation is not going to work. And it's not going to work anymore because a lot of people are educating themselves on the foundations of this country, the Constitution, the idea of following the Constitution and following the idea of the founding fathers and what they gave us, and stop, providing this nanny state for people to leech off of. I once, a long time ago, before I really thought about it, and before I was old enough to understand, thought, yeah, universal health care is great, let the government pay for it. Well, if the government pays for it, it's going to essentially come out of my pocket, and I'm going to be paying for people who are lazy and are not going to, attempt to get their own health care. They'll just leech off the system. And that's pretty much it. Don't let the left-right paradigm fool you in the media. Think about the real issues. How are we going to pay for it? Are the congressmen and senators going to read the bill? Or are they just going to pass a bill that will have all kinds of pork barrel spending in it and all kinds of other junk? And does it fit into what the Constitution, our founding document for this country, does it fit in with what this country was founded on? We must ask ourselves those questions and let the debate kind of follow through. And that's pretty much it. So, adios. Have a good night.